DJ PK. A reminder, you can experience holiday lights at the ballpark at America First Square. Dazzling displays, music, and family fun now through January 3rd. Get your tickets at the ballpark at afs.com. How many championship football games are you going to watch this weekend? They've really taken over Friday night as well. So
it'll be hard for me because I'll be at one.
A little bit of intrigue. You'll be in Dallas, so that'll limit.
Yes. So who's the middle one?
The middle game,
because I'll be working at that point,
is the SEC game, Georgia and Alabama.
And then what's the later one?
Primetime, Indiana and Ohio State, and Duke and Virginia.
Okay. Well, I'll be either at a sports bar or sitting in my hotel room at that point.
Either getting dinner.
Yeah.
But either way.
Right.
Indiana, Ohio State, battle of undefeateds. I find that intriguing, although obviously they're both going off to the playoff anyway. So,
you know what it reminds me of when they first introduced the wild card in baseball, and it was like the last three games, and it was like the big pennant stretch, and I think it was the Padres and Dodgers.
Yeah,
and both teams were in, and like in the fifth inning they subbed like it was a spring training game. Like, I'm not used to this.
The Padres swept the series and won the division, and everybody went to the playoffs, and it was like, okay.
Right.
It was odd.
Right.
It was like, beat the Dodgers, which when I was a kid growing up, the only thing bigger than that was when the Raiders came to town. It was huge, but it was like it was the biggest thing that didn't matter that much.
Right, and they started subbing, and I felt like I was back home at Scottsdale Stadium or wherever.
Watching a spring training game.
And they got their couple of at-bats and then go jog and run and go play golf.
I can't imagine that 7-5 Duke is going to be 10-2 Virginia and then not be ranked, and they're going to be two G5 teams getting in front of Duke.
Well, you know, I kind of would like to have that happen, though, because wouldn't that lead to maybe some more change? Now, maybe some more change that is negative towards the G5.
I think it would absolutely lead to more change. I think it would lead to a change in the way tiebreakers are done. I think multiple leagues are looking at it and thinking we should just go to the highest ranked teams and give ourselves the best chance at either getting into the playoff or getting a first round home game or getting a bye, whatever it is. I think that the fact that tiebreakers could have been a massive factor in the Big 12, but they narrowly averted it. They were a year ago. The Mountain West has a massive tiebreaker with 4 teams, the ACC with 5. I can see all these leagues switching their tiebreakers. And then I think to your point about does this playoff go to 14, 16, 24 teams? Yeah, that too. I can absolutely see that happening. I mean, we have to wait for the Big Ten and the SC to stop wrestling with each other. But
there may be so many public outcries that they just say, oh, the heck with it, let's just do it, get these people off our backs. We're going to have our teams in. We're going to still win. We're going to roll in the money.
So now, if you put in, you're moving the bag at first. We've already seen it going from 2 to 4 to 12. We're still having arguments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was 2 versus 3. It was 4 versus 5. And now it's 8, 9, 10 versus 11, 12, and 13.
But those are legitimate arguments.
BYU, Miami, Texas, Vanderbilt, if there were 4 more bids, I assume those are the 4 who would get in. Those are the next 4. So then you'd have Utah, USC screaming, hey!
Only you'd have them screaming if somebody in their category got in. Why not us? That would have to happen because that's the deal with 12 right now and BYU being left out. You're having teams in their category get in and you're not. And what did you do? What Larry Johnson did that Kerry Malone have not did. And so that's a real argument. It would have to be if somebody got in over you.
Why is 3-loss Texas getting in over 2-loss Utah?
Right. And then at that point, but I think the argument today is far more legitimate when it was 2 or 4. Because once you went down that road, you knew that you were inviting all sorts of controversy. It was going to happen every single year. This one here, we thought maybe it would smooth it out a little. Well, now we're finding out, no, We moved the bag back 2 feet, and we still have.
And we still have a bang-bang play at first base.
Right.
If it were 4 teams, you'd have Ohio State and Indiana at 12-0, one of them about to be 12-1. The winner would obviously be in a 4-team tournament. Would the loser be in? You'd have a bunch of one-loss teams, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, although you'd only have Georgia and Texas Tech out of that group. And BYU, they're down so far, I didn't even see them. Though you have 6 teams at 11-1, 3 of them playing in championship games, and 3 of them not, if I'm doing that right.
Right, but it would be understood from BYU's perspective that you would have to go undefeated because we've already been there. And they knew.
You don't think in a 4-team playoff the Texas Tech BYU winner would be in? BYU wouldn't.
What do you mean
too
the
far
Texas
out.
Tech BYU winner?
In a Big 12 title game, you've got 6 teams at 11-1. Would the winner who got to 12-1 make a 4-team playoff? Or would they pass on a 12-1 Big 12 champ and put in an 11-1 team, Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, who wasn't in their conference title game?
Yeah, I think there would be. But the point I was making is that those teams, when BYU was independent, it's like, okay, we have to go undefeated. Mm-hmm. That's why when they suffered a loss, it seemed like, well, what are we playing for?
Right.
So the parameters, even though they were not literal regulations and rules written on a piece of paper, it was understood, right? Here, we thought...
We thought 11-1 would get teams in.
Yeah.
Once it went to 12 teams.
Right.
And it did last year.
Right.
And we thought it would this year. I said it aloud on this show, and it's going to turn out to be wrong.
Most likely, yes. And so that's why I stand by my argument. The controversy and argument is louder now than it was when it was reduced teams getting in. And it, in my mind, and maybe this is off, but in my mind thinking, well, if you just move the bag back now we move it back 3 feet, then we're good.
Well, at some point there will be a big shrug of the shoulders like, you're 7-5. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But we're already getting there. I mean, you got a 9-3 team arguing they should be in. And I can remember thinking, oh, if you're a 2-loss team, you got to quit griping.
Well, I think they should argue. I think Sarkisian is doing the right thing for his program.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This is part of what he gets paid for. Mm-hmm. It is as much as it's his job to recruit a 5-star quarterback and then coach Arch Manning up. It's also his job to get out and advocate for his school. 100%.
He has valid points. Now, he's just overlooking the Florida loss.
Yeah. Well, he's overlooking the points that don't help him.
Right.
He's arguing his case. He's like a lawyer arguing his case.
And that's what's going to keep him out.
Yeah.
If they're out. Whereas they've had some seriously quality wins here.
No question. Totally agree.
And the problem is, and he's had the big-time quality loss, and they're getting credit, and I think they should get credit for playing Ohio State.
Can't ding them for it. We all want to see big games. We can't penalize people for big games.
Right. I was in L.A. at that time, and I'm walking. We park up by Sepulveda, walk down to Hermosa, and you've been there, and they closed off that street years ago, and now all those bars came onto the street, so they have outside seating, and you could hear the screams. Before you could see it, you could hear it. And my buddy's with me, and he says, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "That is either a Texas fan bar or Ohio State fan bar."
And something just happened.
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, I hate Ohio State, so I hope it's the burnt orange that I see. And sure enough, when I got in vision, it was red.
It was Ohio State.
Yeah.
That 14-7 game, even though Texas offense looks terrible, Arch Manning looks terrible, and now you look at their whole season, and that is hands down the closest game they played. 7-point game.
Right.
And Illinois was 18. Washington was 18. The Michigan game, ironically, was 18. They played a lot of 18-point games. It's an unusual number, but there you go.
And I'm conflicted on college football. It's still screwed up because you should allow teams to develop and progress and get better.
So they're credited for the early season wins, but they don't have the early season wins devalued, and then if they won't play you, you're just not good enough.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to put 5 other things on there, and I would have to say, yeah, I get it. You want the best teams, and can I argue that Notre Dame is among the best teams right now, even though they had the 0-2 start, which was why by a total of 4 points?
Yes. Miami was 3, and it was a 1-point game with A&M.
And I heard somebody say, well, if you remember that A&M, that last touchdown, I think the linebacker for Notre Dame was a flagrant holding call that they swallowed the whistle. So you get on and on. Your head spins on all these things and all these what ifs and who knows, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, not necessarily the little guy, but the smaller guy is going to get hosed. And that's what we're going to see with BYU. They're not the little guy, they're the smaller guy compared to these other programs.
That's all true. These 1- and 2-loss teams that aren't getting in. I mean, Texas is a massive name, but they got 3 losses.
Right.
The 1- and 2-loss teams that aren't getting in. Notre Dame's a bigger brand than BYU. Alabama's bigger than Miami. Oklahoma's bigger than Vanderbilt.
And see, that's why I don't think it's specifically the conferences.
Yeah.
Although it is, I don't deny it, but I think it's more about the brand than the conference.
The brand of a handful of schools is driving the brand of the conference. So it gets a little convoluted and hard to pull apart.
The brands
you want to have
are
both.
the conference.
Yeah, you want to have both. And Oklahoma has both. We're Oklahoma and we're in the SEC.
You don't need both. Notre Dame doesn't need both. That's why they've never joined.
Okay, well, they just fell behind Alabama and they're nervous. You're not, but I think they are. And I think they felt like it was unjust that they fell behind Alabama.
How do I argue with something you assigned them? I mean, so you think so.
No, I know so.
What? All right, you got me there.
Thank you.
You talked to Father or whomever.
I did. Father Notre Dame. And Brother Irish.
And so and maybe you'll end up being right. We shall see. But I really believe it's the brands. And I'm somewhat conflicted because these brands, by and large, have been earned. You know, why couldn't...
But the playoff is for this year, and so someone was good in 2007.
1967.
Yeah, for Notre Dame, 1920 and 30, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, why... I don't know why Michigan is a bigger brand than Michigan State, but I just know it is. I don't know. I wasn't even born when that thing was developing into we're a bigger brand. It's us and Ohio State. You know, why wasn't it the University of Cincinnati? Why couldn't they have been Ohio State? I don't know. How did Ohio State become Ohio State back when it was in the process of Woody Hayes? And we're going back 50, 60, 70 years.
Right.
How did that happen? So in a sense, they've earned it, but you're right. What you did historically
what you did
should
10,
have little
25,
effect on
50,
2025, but yet it does.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's ever going to be fixed. So I'm going to knock my head against the wall.
Oh, I can answer that. It is not going to be fixed.
And that kind of stinks.
It gets fixed if your team gets over the line and gets in. But even then, because they're starting to go to this uneven revenue sharing, so even if you get into one of these leagues, Ohio State and Alabama are going to get more money than your school.
Yeah, okay, that's just from television, though. Is Oregon really suffering that they're only getting a half share in the Big Ten?
Do you get lucky and have some gazillionaire in your backyard getting some company that blows up and they write checks to support
and
your
that's
program?
why they give them headphones and you can sit there and listen to the plays in the press box and all the stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically you just look at what Oregon did, and so Oklahoma State copied it, and now Texas Tech has copied it, and to a certain degree BYU is copying it. And as recently as that press conference last night, go find your own billionaire.
Right.
San Diego State, we haven't found a billionaire yet. UC Santa Barbara, still working on a billionaire. ASU, seems like you guys ought to find a billionaire somewhere in the desert. It's got to happen.
Well, I was hoping Jimmy Kimmel and David Spade would do it.
Not yet.
Or, let's see, some other famous grads.
They got TV money. You need movie star money instead of famous.
Al Michaels.
Al Michaels.
David Spade's not a movie star?
I mean, he's done movies, yeah. I mean, I think of him more for SNL. But yeah, he has done movies. He's got some movie money, for sure.
Come on, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it takes. That's what Dillingham's been talking about. He said, we've got plenty of support from the Valley, but we need...
Deep, deep pockets.
We need the sugar daddy to... And that hasn't come forward. But did it come forward for Notre Dame and Ohio State in the 60s?
No, I think the advantages were different then. Maybe one of the advantages then in the 60s and 70s was the NCAA had the TV contract. There was only 1 or 2 games on a day, which seems like completely in the dark ages, but that's what it was when we grew up. And
that's one of the reasons I wasn't into college football.
And their schools got picked, and your school doesn't.
Okay, but why did Michigan get picked over Michigan State? I don't understand it. What made Michigan, and not that Michigan State's bad, but it's not Michigan.
Michigan played in the first Rose Bowl. I don't know. Why was Michigan in 1900? I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
In the early days. Notre Dame, Knute Rockne flying all over the place.
I get Notre Dame.
Right.
It speaks for itself.
USC was willing to travel early on and go back and play games, and maybe that was a big factor. Football... I don't know. Baseball was the pastime. I wonder if football was just bigger some places in the first half of the 20th century.
Okay, but why would it be bigger in Southern California? That doesn't make any sense.
No, I think that's like Notre Dame, just a lot of people. Notre Dame because of religion, USC because of location.
Okay,
we both know lots of people who root for USC who never went to USC.
And I hate every one of them.
I know, but there's a gazillion of them. And then they get star players and they're flashy and they capture the imagination.
But less than 10 miles away was another institution. Why didn't they do it?
Yeah, and never underestimate hate watching. Never, people, so many people watch Cowboy games. Yeah, and a lot of them are rooting against them. But back to your point it's all the show and it's for money. And as long as people are watching, and TV executives don't care if you're rooting for a team or against them.
And who coined America's team for the Cowboys?
Yeah, I don't know. But well done.
Why have they been able to sustain that?
When the results on the field haven't matched. I do think part of it was when they did the realignment and all that, Dallas insisted on and got to stay in the NFC East twice.
Well, that was true.
And so there's a ton of people who will hate watch in New York and in Philly and in Washington.
I don't even know. I watched. But
yeah, you're not wired right, though. But you know what I'm getting at. All those belligerent fans in Philadelphia and in New York you always talk about. They got fired up to watch the Cowboys lose.
Yeah. But, I watched. Growing up, but I didn't.
I watched. I
didn't root for them to win or lose. But I wanted to watch them because you're supposed to watch them. I'm an NFL football fan. The Cowboys are on.
I can remember when I first started doing this and I had to call a UC Santa Barbara game, and for some reason, UC Santa Barbara to Eastern Washington on a Sunday. And it's when the Cowboys and Giants were big and there was some game. And I'm thinking, I'm calling this basketball game in front of about 57 people in this gym. It snowed. There was nobody there. And I'm missing this massive NFC East matchup. And I
Why didn't you quit?
Why do I care? Because I wanted to do it.
Then why'd you quit?
Quit what?
Well, you wanted to do it, and I said, why didn't you quit?
Oh, I thought you said quit to watch the football game?
Right. Why didn't you quit?
I did quit to watch the football game.
You said you wanted to do it.
I did.
Well, but then you did quit. So you no longer wanted to do it?
I realized that I couldn't make a living in Santa Barbara. I was getting to the point in my life where I was going to have to move somewhere else. Didn't pay well enough. When I was young and single and straight out of college, it worked, but
so you
wasn't going to get the house and the picket fence.
Yak, we just discovered again, it was money driven.
Wow, I changed jobs for money.
You
what
and
a
I
shock.
were
Welcome
able.
to America.
We wanted to go in a community where we could be happy and survive and thrive, and the money was secondary, but not for money bags. That's why
Paycheck is why I live in Utah.
Yeah, it's why you are where you are. I live in Utah for the beauty, the scenic, the people, the passion.
I've lived in Utah too long. I don't know what to tell you.
I haven't lived in Utah long enough. I hope I have another 25 years, knock on
You
wood.
saved a school $600,000?
$600,000.
Yuck, do you have to push a button for each one of these? If you finally just add them all
No,
together, so they
I have
play
buttons
one
for
after
each
another?
one of them. I should just marry them all together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Who
what
was
you're doing.
who were you
Extra
saving?
work.
Who saved 600,000?
I don't remember the company. It was a sponsor.
Right, it was just a transaction for you. It's not like you
Probably.
really cared.
Yeah. Oh no, I did care.
always have
That's what I was
problems with
thinking. I was thinking like, how many of whatever it is they sold did they have to sell to make up for the $600,000? I was trying to do math, and my brain just locked up.
See,
Sex
Jay,
sells, PK.
Jay Brooks
What
loves you
Sex sells, PK.
and has no time for me, but really, I'm the one who loves Jay Brooks more than you. It's just a
may well be.
transactional relationship.
That might well be true. You should tell him.
PK,
that
you
next time he
complete
comes in.
me.
Oh, he knows that. I've told him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I say, no, let DJ do it. His ego would be hurt. And then he needs the well, he didn't need the money. He just wants the money. Where I'm fine with meager means, no problem.
I'm too into myself to be annoyed by other people.
You are such
Keeps
a liar.
me humble.
You are such a liar.
I'm not a liar.
I got a big
You are a
TV.
total liar.
You got a big TV.
You
What
are
did
a
he say,
total
Yuck?
Liar. Total liar.
I got a big
Yuck,
TV.
you're working too hard. You just have to edit these all together. I don't know
Brags
what
about
you're
the
thinking.
size of their television.
Somebody's
Do you have
comparing
the
it to
biggest
their
dog on
little
the
phone.
block, too?
No, I do not.
What
know
happens
you're talking about.
first? Look into your crystal balls. Pardon?
That was one of the better ones I walked into right there.
You passive-aggressive little punks.
And that was Scotty and Bagley?
It
Ben
was
Bagley?
definitely Scotty. I'm not sure who he was on the air with at that time, but I'm pretty sure that was Scotty. Scotty would remember.
Yeah, at the time, I wouldn't have called him little.
Oh, wow.
He's little now.
A little now.
I just have gender
That's so
identification
funny.
issues.
I just mentioned this. The Dallas Cowboys Kansas City Chiefs game on Thanksgiving drew a massive 57 million viewers, shattering the record for the most watched NFL regular season game in history.
Well, isn't that why they play on that day?
It's why they play on that day. There's more people in the country now than there were, years ago.
Yeah, I
so
understand
there's
that.
more people who can watch. They're also counting it differently. They're doing a better job of people.
But relatively speaking,
But it's a massive
I
number
wouldn't
for
know
all
what
the.
to do if I didn't have Cowboy football at 3 o'clock on Thanksgiving
Oh,
Day.
yeah.
I got to have it.
Detroit in the morning, Cowboys in the afternoon, and it's been like 25 years now, I think. They put a primetime game on that rotates every year.
I can live without that, but I
Japan is
got to
really
have
good.
Cowboys in the afternoon. And I
It's like
thought
setting
of
your body clock by it. Is that in the Rose Bowl?
100%. And I actually thought of, I told my wife, I said, on the Wednesday, I said, I feel like texting DJ. And she says, why? I said, because he's been advocating for football on that Wednesday. And since he's put it in my brain,
yeah.
I now want it.
Yeah. Mark Harlan was in the middle of an answer. You can, wherever you get your podcast, last time he was on, just search DJ PK Mark Harlan. In the middle, he was talking about working with the commissioner. Got to think outside the box. I think the commissioner called and said, what about a Wednesday night game?
Yes.
Now, he didn't say it, but reading between the lines, I don't think it was any Wednesday night game. I think he was calling Mark because he was wondering about BYU and Utah on Wednesday. Would it work in the community? Would people show
Well, that
up
would be
because you want
awesome.
the stadium full? I think it'd be awesome too, as long as they give them a bye on the Saturday before.
Oh, of course.
I'm a big fan of that. But the NFL plays Sunday, Thursday. Would college play Saturday, Wednesday? I hope not. I don't like the NFL playing Sunday, Thursday. I do like what they're doing this Thursday. Since Dallas and Detroit have already played on the short week, they are playing each other Thursday. So this week, the Thursday game, they have a full week to prepare. So at least they're taking advantage of the fact that 6 NFL teams play on Thanksgiving now. 2 of those 6 always match up the
But
fall.
I want football next
following week.
Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
very
yeah.
next Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And the only thing I would
2026.
say is don't let that game go to ESPN or FS1. That needs to be on ABC or Fox. Over the air, you're getting even more viewers, and that's what the Big 12 needs. They need to be able to say, look at the eyeballs.
I mean, with no football, I end up watching reruns of Roseanne.
You did not. You liar. Again. You've lied so many times. in
No,
this
but her
segment.
sister-in-law was my attorney. That's a fact.
I agree with PK.
DJ PK, it's 97. It's funny, the most random sounding thing is actually one that's true. Yeah.
You don't really sound like a Debbie.
Oh, wow. Old school right there. All right. All right. Oh,
The worst insult
Boy, I stepped
ever
in
on
it.
Salt Lake City Sports
I
Airways.
stepped in it so deep. The waiters just aren't. All right, DJ and PK. So there it is. We just tap dance for half an hour. No Tim Brando, huh? All right, Yuck will try to track him down. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Since the game went final in Lubbock.
Touchdown, Parker Kingston.
The Cougars have wanted a rematch with the Red Raiders. Now they've got it, with a guaranteed spot in the college football playoff on the line. Listen all week long for the best coverage of BYU in the Big 12 title game, with exclusive interviews and analysis you won't get anywhere else. Then, on Saturday, catch a special Big 12 title game edition of College Football Game Day beginning at 8 a.m. with a post-game show immediately following the game. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on The Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it is time for the Slacker Radio headlines. If you're just joining the show, 3.5 hours of quality radio. You miss so much. It's all brought to you right now by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 801-210-6800 or visit the website at TrajanWealth.com. Kalani Sitake gets a new contract. He gets the money that he wanted, that he thought he needed to stay. He gets money for his assistants, but when they say staff, that's more than just the assistant coaches these days. And he gets NIL money. Some of the national writers reported between 10 and 15 million more than they've got. Obviously, they have the house settlement money they're working with. So all in all, it seems like a banner day. It seems like a lot of the people, both on and off campus, investing in BYU football, which, given the new rules we're watching here, PK, is the only way to stay anywhere near the top of the game.
Most likely, unless you're pulling rabbits out of hats constantly. So, yeah, I'd agree with that. And facility upgrades. And although Kalani did say if you're choosing a program because of a locker room or a stadium, that seems pretty stupid. I agree on that.
He was talking about game day magic and creating that environment. And
that's
that
important.
Energy.
That's extremely important.
So I wonder what kind of things the stadium might get. I mean, over time, that stadium has been dressed up multiple times in multiple ways. I don't know how many scoreboard, video screen updates it's been through, and light rings, and more premium seating. They've done all kinds of things.
I don't know exactly what they need. I personally don't care about it, right. So I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. But yeah, it's the arms race has just never stopped in college sports, and it's actually escalated beyond probably our wildest dreams, and that's what we're dealt with. And BYU, this is an outstanding day in BYU football, or yesterday was, with them putting more emphasis and more commitments and more money into the game, into the team, into the program, and their coach saying, I believe what I could do at Penn State, I could do here. And that matters a lot. That's a powerful statement that he said.
Well, they earned it. I think 22-3 created all the energy and the emotion that led to this. And it takes those things. Without the energy and without the emotion, people aren't going to make the decisions they made. It's not easy to write the check some of these people are writing. Even if you got it, it's still an awfully big check to write.
Right. Texas Tech is now the, what's the phrase?
Standard.
I was thinking something fancier, but okay, that's a simple one.
The goal.
Like the bell cow or something.
The bell cow. Yeah. All right.
And so that means that you have to match it, or at least be competitive with it. Maybe you don't have to match it, because BYU still has things built in that nobody else in the conference has because of the religious affiliation. And for some kids and families, that means a whole heck of a lot.
How many people are going to show up for the Big 12 title game? And we'll talk about this more in the next couple of days. How many people are going to show up? Because BYU just didn't get that many seats at Texas Tech. I mean, there's a number, an allocation they have to provide. But the place is sold out with Texas Tech people. And that matters. I mean, we can see home and road records.
Yeah.
So now they both have to travel. BYU has to travel further. They're in a stadium that, if it doesn't seat 100,000, it's close to it.
Well, they said it's sold out, or it's going to be sold out.
And I wonder how many of those fans are BYU fans. I mean, is it 60,000, 30,000, and then 90 grand in there, whatever it configures to?
So what do you mean?
How
60
many BYU?
Tech?
60,000 Tech fans, 30,000 BYU fans. Some of them are probably corporate tickets, so
for sure.
Some people aren't
Yeah. Hey, let's go to the game.
Yeah, well, and I mean, there are people in Dallas who may just drive over and just see a game because they love big-time football games. They may have bought their tickets long before they knew who was going to be in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there are corporations that advertise. You see their ads and their signage. They all have tickets. So there's some portion that's set aside. But nonetheless, I'm wondering what the crowd split will be and how much that'll help.
I would, if I'm BYU, I take 60-30 because 30 is plenty big enough. And if you
30 makes a lot of noise when you do something right.
Right. You got to do something right. And
get a sack, get a turnover, get a touchdown.
I always thought, to a large degree, that's what leads towards the animosity towards the Bleep U Mormons, is because I've been with BYU all over the country, and it's not so much here in the maybe in the conference because it's new, but in the old WAC and Mountain West, they expected it because they'd had it every other year.
And nobody likes to sit there, get beat up, and look over at all these visiting fans when other teams come to town and it's 100, 500, or 1,000.
Right.
And all of a sudden it's 10,000 people.
And you would go to a place like Georgia Tech, and they wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
And
they didn't have to put up with it every 2 years or every year in basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can remember, I think it was Val Hale who told me this story. They would play the Rose Bowl against the Bruins a lot, and Mike Garrett was the AD at SC when they were running through the ex-player thing. They'd gotten past that. And he calls up whoever was the Guerrero, whoever's the AD for UC Los Angeles, and says, well, I noticed you got like 15,000 extra. And he says, well, yeah, don't you know? And he didn't know. And then they got SC on SC got BYU on the schedule.
Yeah, we had a bigger crowd because it was BYU fans.
Right. And down there, which is,
Well, I knew because I went to San Diego State games. And
but I mean, there's tons of LDS people in Southern California.
Tons of Cougar
within
fans.
a 2-hour drive that they can get to. And I went to that game, and sure enough, the place had more, at like 76,000, more than they normally would draw outside of then their two rivals, Crosstown and Notre Dame. Those games are usually sold out. And I've covered when they've played the rivals when I've worked down there and Notre Dame, and those stadiums both were sold out. And then you see that many more fans. And that's not excusing the obscene language and the racial, prejudice or whatever you call it. But I think that's part of the reason is that they're taken aback. Wait a second, this is our stadium. But if you put 30,000 in the Cowboy Stadium and you make a good play, it'll seem like there's 100,000.
The limiting factor is on all these bowl games, playoff games, conference title games, NCAA basketball tournament, how many plane flights are there to the market? Now, there are a couple airports in Dallas and multiple airlines, so there's more seats, but there's only so many people who can fit on so many planes. And it's not really drivable.
That's why I'm chartering.
Now, good for you. There are people in Texas who can drive to the game.
I got in touch with John, and he said, yeah, I'll take you.
3 hours to Houston, 3 to San Antonio.
I mean, you were on the family plane. It's only right that I'm on the family plane.
I agree. Yeah. I'd like to see you do that.
Right.
If for no other reason than then you could stop whining about it.
I'll just move on to something else.
That's probably true, too. That will be interesting to see. We got a couple more days to talk about that.
I'm looking for a great atmosphere, and it's supposed to be sunny, so people should be outside and all. I understand last year it was pouring down rain when the Devils played Cyclones.
Texas weather through this time of year is all over the map. I mean, they dome it for a reason. I think we all remember Cotton Bowl stories if you're old enough. Joe Montana, was frozen and had to go have hot soup or something during the game and then come back out and lead the rally.
Well, who has cold soup? Is there such a thing as cold soup?
There is such a thing as cold soup.
Who the heck would have cold soup?
And it wasn't. Yeah,
it's the dumbest thing I ever heard of. Cold soup?
I didn't like it at all.
On a cold day? I'm going to eat cold soup?
I got to think what it's called. There's a word for it.
It's called stupid.
You were served it. Be polite. Okay.
Chicho here says it's gazpacho.
Yes, Chicho. Yeah.
Cold soup?
You can have mine. I'll pass on that.
I would chuck it down the drain if I ever got that. I'd say, hey, come over, take this back. This is cold.
Good shout out by Chicho. Well done, Chicho. All right, other stuff we've talked about. The hockey has not been going that well, PK. will our Utah Mammoth turn things around after 4 straight losses and getting blown out in San Jose? I mean, most of the losses have been 1 goal. That thing got out of hand. They're in Anaheim tonight, 8 o'clock, right here on the Zone, 7 o'clock for the pregame.
I know, man. They got to get it going.
Yep.
What's wrong with your team?
College hoops, BYU and Cal Baptist tonight at the Delta Center. Utah lost to the Cal Golden Bears 79-72. Down 2 late. Down 3. They had 3s to tie, but couldn't get it done.
It's always tough to go on the road and beat an ACC team.
That was a really good take right up until the last 3 letters.
It's the truth.
It is, and it was proven again.
I've been in that arena.
I haven't. Yeah.
I can't think what it's called now, but I've been in there several
Haas Pavilion?
times. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK. Chris Paul sent home. Clippers are cutting ties. He's no longer with the team. They are 5-16. Nobody's happy, and he has a reputation for not being happy in the best of times. So, see if he lands somewhere else.
No wonder why I always liked him.
You were drawn to his unhappiness.
I like crankiness. Yeah.
DJ PK, your feedback is coming up next. Stay with us.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
You've been listening to The Zone for decades. Yes! But now you can watch the guys break down your favorite teams.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Catch the video stream of DJ and PK, Jake and Ben, Hanson, Scotty, and JJ and Alex right now at KSLSports.com or by searching KSL Sports on YouTube. Utah's best sports radio is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination to KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. Time for your feedback right now. And PK Hattie says, did the fans really think Kalani would leave? He's learned from Witt. You don't leave a good thing.
Man, I got guys saying they were thinking he was going.
I get the logic of don't leave a good thing. But the nature of college football, lots of people leave good things. We had multiple guys who've already left in this hiring cycle, who've left G5 programs where they're winning, where they're making very good money. Now, they're no longer making very good money. They're making great money. And they got another challenge, and they got another another rung to climb on the ladder. Was that book Bronco told us about earlier this week? The Second Mountain. At some point, climbing up the ladder doesn't look as good. You want to go do something different.
I think the question is, if BYU would have said, hey, we have what we have, you know it.
Then what does he do?
Yeah.
And how big is the gap?
No, I haven't.
And does he feel like he can win with what he has, given where the game is going?
I think the answer would be no. That doesn't mean he doesn't stay.
Well, off what you've told me, and off the body language of a few people who I saw there, which lines up with what you told me, because we drove down together and we were riding home talking about it, and I totally buy what you said about, you can share the quotes if you want. I don't want to steal your thunder. You're the one who got them.
Came right down to the buzzer.
Yeah.
They're not going to lie to me.
No. And also, the way they talked just in a brief interaction and down the hallway, totally, it looked like they were walking on air. They looked happy, like when you think something's not going to go your way and it's going to go the way you don't want, and then all of a sudden it goes the way you do want, and you get a rush out of it and you're thrilled, that's how that person was acting.
I think the emotion was relief.
I can see that.
Like, whew, glad this worked out. We didn't want this to happen. And Kalani made a joke about when it became public, he said he received a ton of response. He said one fan stood out by his car for 2 hours where he knows he parks, and he said his wife called him love bombs. And then I said to Brian Santiago, I said, and I've known him for a long time, I said, man, your butt was really on the line here. And he said, yeah, I know. Those love bombs that Kalani was talking about these last few days, I didn't get any.
He did not get any. He got obliterated on social media. Kalani was talking about how he got a lot of positivity on social media, and social media can be so negative and just such a downer, and just so. And he's like, what if we talk to people, talk to each other like that all the time? And Santiago's over there, talk like that occasionally.
Yeah,
because he was catching a lot of heat. And the thing is, and there are a lot of. Just think about it. You don't even have to be on the inside. Just a lot of moving pieces had to fit, right? Mm-hmm. The AD's got to sign off on something. The president, the trustees, there's however many people in between the AD and the
church folks.
Yeah, lots of people have a say, right? And then you've got a series of boosters who have to write checks, and they have to agree to write checks not just now, but into the future, or write an enormous check now that takes care of the future, or Venmo. Venmo's like, well, that's got to be fraudulent. Rejected. Not putting that one through. And it all came together, and they got their guy. Which, when you're 22-3, you don't want to lose your guy, but no wonder Penn State came calling.
Oh, yeah. And he's had several calls the last 2 years.
Kalani's leash just got really short, in my opinion. The leash was already short. He had 1 5-7 season, and they were his butt was on the line.
He's a football coach at a place they want to win.
Yes, and if he'd taken the Penn State job, he would have had a short leash. Ask the guy who just got fired for a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, so sure.
Yes, I agree the leash is short, but since it was already short, take the money for you, take the money for your entire staff, and take the money for the players, and take the money for the facilities in the program.
I expect big things out of this program. I think it's under Kalani in the Big 12. It's arrived.
Brandon, it's a huge deal. He's damn good at what he does, and players love him. So the happiness is high right now.
No, I would sign off on that.
Yeah.
The players, the people under him, which includes players, have a lot of love for the guy.
They revere the guy.
Yeah. I'm confident in saying that.
Those two players, they brought up Tanner Wall and they brought up Chase Roberts. And those two players went up there, and their body language was like, we can't wait to get at this.
Yeah, and two guys out the door, by the way.
Right. This is it. I got something to say.
They got 2 games, or maybe more if they get in the playoffs.
They waited over on the side off to our left.
Yeah.
But when they were finally brought up, man, it's like when they walked over, you could just see the purpose in their stride. This wasn't a, come on over, or I have to do this, or I have to know. I've got something to say.
Yeah, and I think Chase Roberts said it well, and I'm not even coming back. And this is something I desperately wanted.
Yep. Now, having said that, all this happiness and all that, it all comes down to winning. Mike Tomlin's had an awesome run in Steeler in Pittsburgh, and he's never had a losing season. Steeler fans are booing because they want playoff wins, and they're not getting them. And they've been searching for a quarterback since, not only since Roethlisberger left, but even the last couple of years he was there, he wasn't playing up to the level he'd played before. Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, I think the
those fans are booing.
They can withstand an 8-win season, and there wouldn't be that much pressure. If 8 is the low mark,
you're in a pretty good spot.
I'll take it.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Jake is back, and Jake and Ben are next right here in the Zone.